They're making a game based on a holofilm based on my life?
It might be hard to believe, but it's been nearly 14 years since the release of the original Ratchet and Clank on the PlayStation 2. Since then, there's been about 13 different titles, but Insomniac Games is going back to its roots with a remake of the original Ratchet and Clank. So, is it worth it? Let's find out. The crafty Lombax and his robotic palette finally made their way to current gen in Ratchet and Clank, a game based on the movie, based on the game. But this remake is far more than a simple marketing campaign staple. With bustling visuals, a vast and varied arsenal, and a healthy heap of unlockables, Insomniac Games have delivered on the potential of a modern AAA platformer. One peaceful night on the planet Veldin, the would-be adventurer Ratchet witnesses an escape pod smashing into his backyard. Investigating the flaming wreckage, he discovers Clank, a defective and rejected warbot from the shadowy planet Blarg. Warning Ratchet about the sinister Chairman Drek's plans to destroy and recycle planets, the two agree to partner up and contact Captain Quark and his Galactic Rangers before the solar system as they know it is changed forever. No, there's not much plot in the game's 10-hour campaign, but the narrative knows how to hit the right tones in a traditional 3-act structure, including a rather surprising and effective turning point. Ratchet and Clank might receive top billing, but most of the story is detailed by the egocentric narrator Captain Quark, played by Jim Ward. It's an effective reboot method, allowing for a more streamlined iteration of the original tale while acknowledging plot changes along the way. It's just a shame Ratchet and Clank's relationship is treated as a foregone conclusion. They never actually become friends, they just are, without any sort of real development or conflict. In fact, most of the characters outside of Captain Quark and Chairman Drek come off as plain. Funny? Absolutely, but usually lacking in a compelling personality. Thankfully, the game's satirical look at corporations, celebrities, and subcultures juxtaposed with the altruistic heroes is enough to keep the plot's sometimes stagnant story entertaining for all ages. Despite its cartoonish look, snappy controls, and generous jump physics, Ratchet and Clank is far from a traditional platformer. Sure, there's still plenty of swinging, flying, and leaping, but most of the gameplay is focused on chaotic long-range weapon fights. From the simple but reliable single-shot combustor to the outrageous disco dance-inducing Groovatron, the game's steady introduction of unique guns and grenades keeps combat encounters fresh and fun. While the ability to map 4 weapons to the DualShock 4's D-pad encourages continuous experimentation, the cleverly designed experience and upgrade system rewards players who stick to their favorites. Each weapon is automatically leveled up after prolonged use, with its final form taking on new capabilities, such as the single-shot combustor transforming into a triple shot. Collectible items can also upgrade individual aspects through the game's skill tree, with some guns receiving bonus improvements after enough radium is spent. With new weapons and enhancements always within reach, these systems add an exciting level of depth to a fairly repetitive third-person shooter. Fortunately, Clank's solo adventures take a far more cerebral approach, with fun puzzle platformer stages, navigating his dangerous surroundings by transforming his robotic pals into bridges, batteries, and bounce pads. With an engaging blend of resource management and problem solving, these sequences provide a satisfying break from explosive battles. Sadly, most of the other activities are far less successful. Hoverboard races are ruined by poorly implemented controls that somehow manage to feel unresponsive and slippery. Rail grinding events are also underwhelming, with unforgiving analog inputs requiring players to hold the left stick firmly in one direction to transfer. Neither of these mandatory moments feature a sense of speed or momentum, leaving these stages slow, lifeless, and frustrating. Boss fights fare a bit better as they're based around the core gameplay, but often don't effectively communicate expectations. Numerous deaths become a prerequisite, as their unique attacks aren't based on the preceding stage's designs. On the bright side, these sequences are brief and infrequent. All of this is tied together with Ratchet and Clank's absolutely incredible presentation. Levels are intentionally left sparse and open for shooting and jumping, but the attractive, vibrant colors make environments lively and diverse. Lovingly crafted enemies come alive with fluid animations and thoughtful poses, with even the most cold and mechanical of opponents featuring a touch of personality. Even the simple task of collecting drop bolts is stunning, with dozens of floating objects adapting to light sources. The overwhelming combination of eye-catching enemy designs, shadows, explosions, and beautiful backgrounds easily make this one of the best looking games of the generation. So, is it worth it? Yes. Ratchet and Clank is far from perfect. The boss battles can feel cheap, the rail grinding and hoverboard events are dull, and the two protagonists' relationship is awkwardly cordial. But the core gameplay's responsive controls combined with the varied combat options make for an experience that's just as enjoyable as it was 14 years ago. Fans of more conventional 3D platformers might be turned off by the focus on firepower, but cartoonish characters and striking visual effects retain the feel of mascot games of the past. Insomniac Games have found a successful balance between a faithful recreation and contemporary design, resulting in the best Ratchet & Clank game since the original trilogy. Ratchet & Clank is currently available on the PlayStation 4 for $40. If you've had a chance to play it, let me know what you thought, and if you haven't, let me know if you plan on picking it up. My name is Colin Tanner, and I'll see you in the next video.